What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? This is Mr. Straight Fact Show. We're going to get it in today. If you haven't seen me before, please stick around just for the first 10 minutes. If you're going to do anything, stick around for the first 10 minutes. Because today, I want to expose something that I think many people have looked past. At least I was watching a video from Roland Martin, and he had an interview with Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. And they were discussing, this situation with the Signal app and, the different people who were leaders and how they were really horrible at the job. I like the fact that Hakeem Jeffries literally lit in to head Pete Hegseth, basically saying he's not qualified. Love that. Finally went in on him. I ain't saying that he hadn't done it before, but it's the first time I really seen him go in on him. Hey, Vera, how you doing? So within the first 10 minutes, I want you guys to stick around if you can. If you got to go, I understand. Roland Martin was having this conversation with Hakeem Jeffries, and Roland pitched to him, or actually said to him, he said, it's almost like they're trying to break the FOIA laws on purpose. And I know everybody's had those moments in their life when they yell at the screen, you know what I mean? And you're trying to say you want to talk to them. It's like, no shit, they are on purpose, and it was shocking to me that they hadn't put 1 + 1 together, and they were just like, it's almost like. No, it is exactly like. It is in Project 2025. But here's the thing. They did not put that in the document. It was released in the undercover interview. The undercover interview is where you find out how they're going to do this, or at least what their intentions, what they're going to do. You didn't know what app they were going to use to do it. This Signal chat situation about the military stuff, now that's egregious. That's a felony. But what it exposes is something even more, detrimental to our country, catastrophic, right? Many of us who are Democrats or who just don't like this administration, don't think they're qualified, have been screaming about the Democrats to say to them to do something. And they got them in courts tied up and all stuff like that for certain things and slowing certain things down. But we don't know what's going on until those things are actually passed or stopped or whatever it may be. So in this process, you start to learn that it is always, this is how they plan to do it. I showed you guys a video before about the undercover, and I gave you guys a way to go check it out yourselves, but the undercover interview of these supposed rich men, white men, that they were pitching this to. See, they were going to all kind of conventions and things of this nature for Project 2025. Me and you didn't know anything about this, but the people who they were reaching out to, these conservatives, these racist white people, they were reaching out to them in droves. Rich racist white people, they were reaching out to them in droves, and they were coming to these places. When you see them, they're full. Like, how do you get this many hateful ass people in one place? There's a lot of them. Many of them probably your neighbor and smiling in your face all the while they're trying to kick your ass about the country or put you in jail. Would eat food with you, invite you to the barbecue, but on the weekends, they traveling to racist America to do whatever they can to get rid of you. That's the scary part. But as you see this place filled up, that's got to be a reality. All of them like that? No. But again, how do you know one from the other if they can kiki in your face and go to one of these functions, right? So the reason why I say, it was already there when I was yelling at the screen saying, Hakeem, Roland, it ain't almost like, it is like, it is. Show the video, Roland. I didn't know if he had it or not. I'm sitting there yelling at the screen. Show the video so he knows that it ain't almost like, it is like. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I mean, I ain't going to prolong it anymore. Let's go with the some water here. You guys have seen it if you've been here before. But yeah, let's go.
Journalists from the Center for Climate Reporting have come posing as potential donors, looking to meet those involved in Project 2025. They're not hard to find. The Heritage Foundation, the group running the project, are here. So is Vote's think tank. We make the acquaintance of Mika Meadowcroft,
This guy.
an author on Project 2025 and a close aide to Vote.
We'll say
He tells us that Vote is running the secretive second phase of Project 2025.
hold up. Secretive. Signal app. Secretive. This is the way they get around things, is through the secretive channel. Their secretive channel is Signal. Let's go.
Second phase after the book came out was to break down like actual sort of policy packets and like, executive orders and agenda items and things like that. That's been supervised largely.
The first phase of Project 2025 was a 922-page policy book
That's what
published
we saw.
openly. The second phase is a comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. These much more detailed plans are confidential.
Yeah.
Because obviously you wanted little of it to be foiable. If you're
As little of it to be foiable. So he wanted to be the the actual plan was to hide it so that you could not see any of it as much as possible, which means in order to be able to do that, you got to go on a secretive channel. And you've already heard some of these minions of Donald Trump's and even Pete Hegseth and all that, or even Mike Waltz, I think it came out of his mouth, that when they received their phones, it had this app on it. Remember, Project 2025 is a plan that is in place from day one. So they had this app on their phones. They're not supposed to be. Government phones should not have this on it, period. But somehow they've classified this app is okay to have. So all the things that these people have been doing in this office since they got in have been on that app. Everything they've done has been on that app. Project 2025 has been run through that app. That's why nothing's really foiable, that the Democrats or anybody who wants to, like, say, challenge what they're doing, they can't see it because it's not out in the open for everybody to see. This right here, what they're doing, highly illegal. Highly illegal. Anybody doing it should be going to jail. Anybody doing this should be going to jail. This is not the only thing they've been doing it. They've been doing it since they got in. That's why the Democrats don't know what the fuck is going on, because it's not out in the open so that they can challenge it. It's all on this fake ass app. It's all on the app. This man right here gives it all away. And this is an aid to the guy who's running the entire thing, the aide who created Project 2025 from beginning to end. He wrote the 900 something page document. And then on top of that, that secretive document behind the scenes, he wrote that too. This whole plan, Doge, he wrote that too. He ain't, Elon Musk is not doing anything. That plan was written. They just threw Elon Musk's face on it. That's why they have so much of a problem to say he's running it, he's not running it, because he's not. He's only implementing a plan in which Russell Vogt, or Russ Vogt, is the one who created it all. This is his assistant. He literally tells you, and I go back just a little bit.
These much more detailed plans are confidential.
Yeah.
Because obviously you wanted little of it to be foiable. If you're familiar with the FOIA process, as possible.
Freedom of Information Act, yeah.
The Freedom of Information Act allows the public to request government communications, but Meadowcroft reveals they plan to avoid these rules.
Yeah, the goal is, familiarize all the transition team people with these plans,
Yeah.
but you don't actually send them to their work emails, because that,
Right.
you could just give the handbooks to everyone. You're like, this is the game plan for the admin.
Yeah.
But if the press knows that that's what you're doing, that they're going to immediately just say, I request all of your emails from Heritage.
Okay.
You are
Right.
my worker.
Yeah, I see.
So we'll see.
Interesting.
Meadowcroft offers
You see what I'm saying? This man right here literally exposed. He exposed their game plan. Their game plan this entire time was to use Signal so that nobody else can see it except for all the people on their chat. That's why they acted like, what? It's qualified. We can do it. No. every government before you has never done this. They've used it to talk about meetings that they're going to have with each other. Oh, let's go have some coffee. Let's go this after work, things of that nature. But they never used it for government information. Never. They would be in jail if they did. But this is the problem here. This just tells you that Russ Vought did not know what the hell he was doing. He literally, the thing is, he knew he was breaking the law because he had everybody be quiet about it. This idiot right here, his assistant, think he's talking to a millionaire or billionaire, is exposing it to him, knowing that it's illegal, because the fact is he's avoiding FOIA on purpose, the Freedom of Information Act. They don't want the public to know what they're doing in the government. Now, am I crazy, or is that called the deep state? That is actually the deep state, to create an additional channel to do government information that the House or the Senate on the Democrat side have no idea what you guys are doing. Hence, they have no way to combat it, because all they're doing is fighting it. They never see it before they actually make the decision. They're making a decision on an app that can be hacked. Not a government app. They're doing it on purpose to hide from the government. That's insane. Hey, Jennifer, how you doing? I see you, Roxanne. So that right there, Democrats, that's what you need to do. Now, they just did. It's a organization, that just sued them over this, so that they can expose, or at least keep that information, that it is foiable. So here's the thing. That judge and the government that it was going up against, they came up with an agreement that the documents that they have and going forward need to be foiable. In other words, they have to give it all, they have to save it all and give it. They were planning on overcoming our government with an app that they can have everything disappear. So you would never know how this stuff went down. You would never know who did what. All these documents that they had is on an app that dissolves. That itself is illegal for a government situation. You cannot have documents. Everything that the government does, every decision that it makes, every phone call that it has, every text that it has. Remember, we had that right. Remember when they was talking about President Clinton had an audio tape in his sock drawer that he took home, and that's the president's act. He couldn't do that. In all honesty, it wasn't homework. I mean, it wasn't homework. It wasn't something that dealt with him being a president. It was his personal business, but he still gave it to the offices in which they looked at it and said, okay, you can keep that. And on the other end, Donald Trump took fucking a whole bathroom and closets full of secret documents and tried to say that was the same thing, when those weren't even documents he created. There was documents he stole that the government created. He never owned it. He didn't create it. It wasn't his version of it. It wasn't his own notes. He tried to make that under the Presidential Act. That was just insane. He should be in jail for it. Yeah, that situation right there is what these individuals were doing. They're literally trying to hide documents and say that, oh, you guys had a deep state. They never proved there was no such thing as a deep state. Who had what? They had all Americans thinking, like, oh, I didn't say all, but many Americans thinking, especially on their side, MAGA, there's a deep state and there's so many things going on and it's conspiracy nuts. And I'm like, okay, so where is one of the people? Well, we don't know. Okay, you don't know where the people are. So you're just making it up, or you're just trusting Trump and his minions? Now here we got concrete information. They literally have a document in which they're talking about private things they thought was okay, or not, or secret things they call sensitive, as if sensitive information should have got out. Sensitive information cannot be sent to anybody except for the people who are in the chain, and it can't be on any kind of public server. They don't own this server. Therefore, if this stuff is on a server housed anywhere, it's in a public server. If that server's hacked, so are you. If your phone is hacked, which again, your phone can be hacked just walking down the street. I can just walk past you and hack your phone and get everything off of it. They can hack your phone without sending you a message to link on. As you saw many times, like I said before, it was a string of weeks or months where stars had, pictures and naked pictures on their phones. They were showing up on Instagram and things of this nature. They had ransomware, which they were saying, we're going to put out your picture of your, you know what, if you don't give us so much money, things of that nature. And then they just came out like, go ahead, send it out. I don't care. Do your thing. So these people planned this. They planned it. No worries. What's going on? They planned this thing the entire time to have Signal to do their dirty work behind the Democrats and behind the American people. They didn't want you to see it. Me and you. I don't know if you've ever done it before. I have done it. Where you can go online and the Freedom of Information Act, it's a portal, and you can ask for documents that, your senator talked about or whatever it may be. You can ask for documents that are government documents to be released. Newspapers do it all the time. When they say, oh, we need these documents released, and they actually go to court for it, then either they'll file for it and they say no, then they go to court, and then they get them because, again, they're government documents. The people can see them as long as there's no classified information in it. And oftentimes they'll give you it redacted, but they still got to give you the document, even if they got to figure out who to take out of it. But they still have to give it to you because of the Freedom of Information Act. That's the law. And with Donald Trump and these people at Project 2025, and you heard him say Heritage Foundation. With the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025, and our government, these people are using a strategy that the Heritage Foundation, a think tank, right-wing nutjob think tank, is running our government right now. Because Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, both knew doing what they were doing was highly illegal, but it was a part of the Project 2025 plan. It's how they communicate to do their dirt behind the American people's back and the Democrats' back. Now that that's been blown up, Democrats, I promise you, please stay on their ass about foiable shit. Do not allow this app on phones. Try your damnedest to get the app gone. Any secretive app that is not a part of the government, get it gone, because that they have to then do their information with government documents, which means everything they say is foiable. I think that'll put a huge kink in their plan, because if they don't have that, they can't implement the things that they were trying to do behind your back, like his assistant just said. So that is the thing that I wanted to explain, is that this colossal fuck up with Signal exposed more than the fact that they did something highly illegal, a felony. It exposed that they were doing the government's work, the people's work, the people's work behind our backs, getting Project 2025 implemented, because they know if they put Project 2025 into the hands, like that guy said, his assistant said, if we put it in a pamphlet for them to do their day-to-day job, and here's the pamphlet for you to do, reporters would get it and they'd have to answer for it. We don't want that because it's going to slow it down. So that's what Democrats have to do. Continue to be on their necks about Signal. Don't stop talking about it. Don't let it go. They want you to let it go because they're going to try their best to make it seem like you guys keep playing the same old game, talking about the same old thing, and get their Republican people and MAGA people mad, and the conservative. I guarantee you turn to Fox, they're trying to get rid of it. You need to make sure that you let them know it's more than this Signal app and this March 11th debacle of them putting the war and shit like that they went to Yemen to do. It's more than that. It's how they're running our government. It is the deep state. You just exposed the deep state. That's what they have. So don't let up on their necks. It's the deep state, what they're doing. And again, there was no such thing as deep state. They made this shit up. Before the deep state was anybody that didn't let Donald Trump do the shit that he wanted to do. That became Republican people who didn't listen to him. He made them the deep state. They created a fake ass boogeyman just so they can get things done and they can fire people. As you notice, he hasn't fired anybody this time around. Why? Because they're already his clowns. They're already his goons. Why would you fire people? Because they're the only ones going to implement me becoming a king. I got people who are sycophants. They're not going to do anything against me. How do I know? I got this secret channel, the deep state, which that's what they were talking about the whole fucking time. It's always, these people always say what they are and put it on somebody else. There's a deep state there now, and it's being run through Signal. They need to gather all these people's phones, get all this documentation for that behind the scenes chatter, not just for this. Ever since day one, when they came in, from today, all the way back since they came into office, any of them had that Signal app. That's when they need to have it. And if they were in office and got put into the situation, take their Signal app information all the way back a good 2 years, because they've been doing this channel for a long time. It ain't like they just started it when the actual thing happened, when they came in office. These Republicans who were like MAGA to begin with, you know, Matt Gaetz has probably got stuff on his phone. He's gone now. But I know MTG, she's got stuff on her. Lauren Boebert's got stuff on her phone. From 2 years ago, of these people still working on Project 2025 and talking about the dirt they're going to do when and if they get into office. And as soon as they got into office, I know it had to get worse. Because this is a group of people who chattered all the fucking time. They was on news every 5 minutes talking about something. Lauren Boebert was running to a camera saying something. MTG was running to a camera saying something. Now you don't see them doing shit except for when she's leading her own, like, you know, committee now. I don't see how they got an idiot leading a committee, but still. But you don't see them running to the cameras like they used to, because everything they're doing is behind the scenes. Everything they're doing is behind the scenes. Thanks, Five Alarm Fire. Welcome to see you. Good to see you. Woke Mike, good to see you. Benny Loco as well. What's up? Stephanie B, welcome. I challenge you to go, hey Jorge, I challenge you to go look that up. I just showed you the video of that guy, his assistant, Russ Vogt, his assistant, the guy who's running Project 2025 in the office right now. They're doing it through a secret channel. That guy said it. They just didn't tell you what app or what channel it was. They just got caught doing work like this on that channel. And now they're compromised. If the Democrats put their foot on their necks and say, you know what? We need to get that app off the phones. Democrats, y'all got to be willing to get rid of that app on your phone as well to save America. So I don't give a damn what you got on there. I don't care if you're calling your mom, cousin, nephew, niece. If it's on your personal phone, whatever, that's cool. Don't bring that bitch to work. Point blank, period. Leave it at the hotel, whatever. Bring your government phone to do government business. You got something else to do, take your ass home. We're paying you too much to be fucking up the country. Keep your phones at your homes. Do not bring them to work. You got your personal phone, have them call. Your family need to talk to you, call the office. Get an office line, they can call you directly, but not on your cell phone. Because them having that secret app, that's how they're doing the dirt. And you guys can't stop it. You guys are going to court to stop it. You can stop it before it gets to court, because that's how they're telling these people how to do their jobs, through that app. And I guarantee you, if you get their apps off of their phones, that's their job. Pete Hegseth don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's getting notes every day on how to do his job. That's how he's doing it, through that app. He don't know anything else. They are running these things behind and back channels. Put one and one together. His right-hand man said they're going to do it secretly, away from foiable, so it won't be foiable. And the non-foiable app is the one they just busted him with. Come on, Roland Martin, whomever. Y'all take that and run with it. Hakeem Jeffries, do your thing. Crockett, Get out there and do it. I don't care who. Yeah, I heard it from me. I hope y'all already done figured it out, but I ain't seen nobody talking like this or say anything about it. But I need y'all to watch that document where his second-hand man, Russ Vought, y'all know y'all don't like him, Democrats. Watch him say that. Don't listen to me. Go watch that video and then go see what they're doing. And now you'll have 1 + 1 = 2. Get that app out of their hands. These fools won't know how to do anything because that is the plan. They can't deviate from it. If they deviate from that plan, that second secretive plan goes to shit because these people don't know their orders. They don't. He literally said they don't have it written down in a booklet because they don't want to give it to the press or make it foilable. So that means they have to get their daily information through that app, or it's been downloaded. I don't know how this app works onto this app where they can probably save it somewhere. Check their phones, and you'll have that secretive document they say that they have via the Heritage Foundation. This stuff is something they need to get to like right away. I don't know if you guys should be going to Roland Martin and putting it in his chat. I don't care that I came up with it. You guys came up with it as far as I care. Go and post it in chats and everything about Foible, the guy who said it. You know what? Let's go back to it and get his exact name. I ain't playing. Let me see.
Journalists from the Center for Climate Reporting have come posing as potential donors, looking to meet those involved in Project 2025. They're not hard to find. The Heritage Foundation, the group running the project, are here. So is Vought's think tank. We make the acquaintance of Mika Meadowcroft.
There you go. Mika Meadowcroft. Mika Meadowcroft. Put his name down. Russ Vought. RUSSVOUGHT. Tell him, anybody that you see, Roland Martin, I don't care who it is, Tabitha, I don't care whom you go to. They have a bigger audience than me. And tell them to check out Mika Meadowcroft, Russ Vought, and how they're doing this with the Signal app behind the scenes. It's bigger than just, and even though this thing is huge, that's a felony what they did, with the war and everything like that, those battle notes that they had, documents. It's bigger than that. It's how they're running our government in a secret, dark channel in which they're literally writing down this information to each other. And Mika Meadowcroft is the one who exposes it. Not me. It's not my words. It's his words. It's just that they got caught using that app for war plans or battle plans. And then they said themselves, listen to Mike Waltz, I believe, who said that he was in the room. He said something to the effect, I think it was Waltz, who said something to the effect that when he got the phone, or when somebody he mentioned got the phone, it came with Signal on it. Now, people in the government use Signal, but on their personal phones. He said it came with the government phone. Why would that happen? Listen to Russ Vought. He even says it too later. Is it in here? Hold on for a second. I'll see if this whole thing is here. Give me a second. It's yeah, he's right here. Russ Vought is right here. Let's listen to this.
FBI and DOJ.
80% of my time is working on the plans of what's necessary to take control of these bureaucracies. And we are working doggedly on that, whether it's destroying their agency's notion of independence. They're independent from the president.
Thank you, Babylon Fire. So that was Russ Vought. He's the one that's leading everything right now. So Russ Vought is the one that was the assistant to that Mika. He's the boss, and Mika Meadowcroft is his assistant. And so they needed a secret channel. They both were talking about secret channels. He's talking about taking over the bureaucracies, which the bureaucracies he's talking about is our government. Every faction of our government, whether it be CIA, FBI, all these different things, just the government itself, the presidency, all that. He's going behind the scenes with this app doing what he does. So here's the thing. This is what, I don't know what the laws can be done. this is what I suggest to to cut the head off the snake, because Donald Trump is not really the head. He's just a snake. The head is the person with the brains behind it. It's him that created this thing. Russ Vought, the second guy I showed you. If they get that app off the government phones and they get him kicked out, they can't run it. They can't run it. If they make him a person that has a deep state in our government and say, you know what, he has to go, impeach him, do whatever you got to do to get him out, because he implemented, when they find these documents, and I hope to God they do, I'm praying they do, they get to these phones and one of these dumbasses put the entire document on that phone where they get, and they can take it to court. I hope one of them kept it on there, because that's the only way they know how to do it. That's what this gentleman said. Not me. These are not my words. This is his words. That gentleman said, in order to be able to get them to do this Project 2025, we would have given them a full document on what the hell to do, but we couldn't do that because we didn't want the press to get it. We didn't want to make it foiable, means they didn't want the people to see it. They wanted to do it behind everybody's backs. Do it behind the Americans' backs. You wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I couldn't ask for anything foiable because there's nothing there. They don't even go through government emails. So you need to tell me, that's what these people are saying, not me. But they're telling us that in order to get government shit done, they're doing it on a back channel and not on the government channel, which means nobody in the government knows what the hell is going on unless they go to this back channel. So you're telling me there's no information of government deeds going on? You got to match that, Democrats. Go through their government documents and see if any of the stuff that's being asked to do, that's being charged to do, if Doge is doing, to see if any of that information was any of those documents are in the government documents, meaning go get it and say, oh, I want this foible, how they went about doing what they did, sending people overseas. And I was like, I want to see this foible information. Like, can we see it? If they can't show it to you, it's because it's on a back channel. I really want to know this. So please, if you contact Roland, Hakeem Jeffries, I don't care if he isn't your guy. If you see his information online, go to him. You can go to your own council in your city, or your state, whatever, your senator. Ask them these questions. I want you to make sure that the Signal app is no longer something that you can use on government time. We don't pay you guys to play on apps that have nothing to do with the government. When you're working with the government, you're doing the government's work. You take yourself a lunch break, take your ass back home and get on your phone, get your ass back and do your job. We're not paying you guys to live life like, oh, just like this is, Big Willie style. It ain't that. Take your ass to work like we all do. Do your job and don't play around. And then take your ass home, drink your wine, have fun, do what you do. But on government time, these apps that aren't like government approved, which should not be government approved, you should check. Why was that put in on any government phone? That app should have never been on a government phone. I remember when it was when Obama was president, they didn't even want, and I don't think he wanted it either, but I think other people did. You couldn't have a camera on your phone because they didn't want anybody tapping into your camera, nobody taking any pictures they don't need to be taken, those types of things. But you want to tell me you got an app that you can say secret stuff on that disappears for good, at least from your eyes, and there's no way to protect American citizens from whatever the hell you just did? Yeah, nah, somebody got to go for that. Somebody got to go to jail for that. Somebody got to get fired for that. Something. Somebody like reading comments. What's this all about? Oh, you want to see the link for that? Let me go check it out real quick. I got to get it because that's mine. I downloaded it. But it's I'll get it. Give me a second. At the very beginning, it says what it is. Let me go back. Project 25. undercover. Give me a second. This the whole. Oh, here's the whole thing right here. Give me a sec. All right, I'll give it to you right here. Bow. There we go. There it is. Yeah, send it to anybody and everybody, and mention about Signal app being used behind it. The real, true deep state is them. They could never produce anything about the deep state. The only time they had anything with a deep state they was thinking about was somebody who was Project or who was Q, whatever it was, QAnon. I'm like, who the hell is that? And it's odd how QAnon on December 6, 2020, after Donald Trump left, was the last time QAnon or Q, whomever it was, made a note about QAnon. After Donald Trump was gone, QAnon was gone. I thought it was supposed to be somebody in the government giving us information about what the government's doing. But as soon as Donald Trump's presidency is done, that person left. I mean, were they really working for Donald Trump? I mean, the way they made it seem like it was somebody they didn't know. Just, I don't know anything about it. Donald Trump always says, I don't know anything about it. It wasn't one of our guys. But as soon as you lost, this guy left or girl left too. I mean, how dumb do you have to be to not know that Donald Trump was fucking QAnon? Never had it. We had something else like I used to call back in the day the deep state, but that was all about spies, not about American citizens doing it. It's like Russia and France and different things where they're talking about people who were here that were like the deep state. Donald Trump was they the one who created this deep state thing. They were part of QAnon. People say, oh, he wasn't smart enough to do QAnon. Remember, Donald Trump was the dude that was calling places, pretending to be somebody else so that he can get his face in Forbes that he was a billionaire. If somebody is that desperate to show that he has some type of belonging with rich people when he didn't, that he had to fake it, he couldn't call up another billionaire and be like, yo, man, I'm going to need you to call Forbes for me, man. Get me on there. You know I'm balling. You know I'm like that. Okay, cool. Because you needed another source to do it for you. You couldn't just put yourself on the list. He couldn't get a billionaire to vouch for him. He had to call it up himself. If anybody can do that, they can create QAnon. Right? Silent Siren. She says, let me see if I can put that up there because I've been trying to put this stuff up. Let me see if I can get my my system to work. See if it works. It might look janky, but I'm trying. Let's see what if it comes up at all. Nope, didn't come up at all. Trying to get this thing to work. It might come up if I do that, maybe. Nah, it ain't coming up. I tried. But anyway, I'll keep working on it. I was trying to bring up your names so that I can see your questions or things up on the screen. I got this software. It's not working right now, but I'll figure it out before next week. I'm gonna try to work on it this weekend. You just subscribe to the channel. I'll watch it later. All right, Woke Mike, most definitely. That's the undercover. This was put out way before the presidency. I was talking about this as before the presidency. I was educating people about Project 2025, and these people did this undercover interview, which led you to understand that if they did it for these individuals, thinking that they were billionaires, millionaires, had money, you know they did it to all the other ones that they can get to come. You know that Elon Musk went through this conversation. So much, he was so down with it, he put all his money up, all of it, but a lot of money up, because he believed in this pitch that Russ Vought tried to pitch them. He believed in it. Because these two men, you know, on the other side of that table, these two men, it was Russ Vought, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, you know that there was Jeff Bezos. I would not doubt you had the head of Microsoft, You had Tim from Apple. I'm sure you had all of them. You might have had the guy that had a TikTok there too. I'm not sure, but he's not American, but still, his money spends. So, because this thing doesn't survive without money. They can't do this without money. That's why they was begging these two dudes for money. And left the documents with him to look over to see if he's going to help them out with the whole plan. It's insane, y'all. This shit sounds like a freaking spy movie. I'm saying I'm looking for, 007 up in here. But it's real. This is a real thing. Tim Apple. Thank you, Woke Mike. John Barron, exactly. Silent Siren, that's who we use. The alias was John Barron, calling people up. You know for damn sure if he's going to do that, he ain't got no problem creating QAnon. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Being able to pretend you're somebody that you're not. And in actuality, it's probably easier to do QAnon because all you're doing is going on a computer and randomly saying shit. Type this. Okay, cool. And then they type it and send it out to everybody. Because I look at it this way. If Donald Trump had nothing to do with QAnon, right? Then ask yourself the question, when Donald Trump left, December 8th, 2020 was the last time this person put out any kind of information. He left. Nobody continued it. The QAnon situation was a huge grift. There was T-shirts sold, hats. There were, paraphernalia, right? All that. They were sent to do all this. They had Q and they had all this. It was a huge grift. Who does that at a scale like that would be Trump. You don't see anybody else doing that in politics. Their grift is, donate to me. His is buy my shit. So it had to be him. Every time he loses anything, he claimed the Emmys were rigged. Everything's rigged to Silent Siren. Everything's rigged with him. He never loses fair and square. And if he wins, he's still got issues. Even after he wins, he'll say something insane. He'll still say, "Oh yeah, they tried to cheat, but I won." I'm like, "Yeah, nobody cheated, bro. If anybody cheated, it was you. But you won, fool. Why are you still talking about somebody cheating?" Yeah. So I wanted to expose that, and hopefully you guys, put that out there to people in different areas that you're in. I'm gonna make a video about it myself, exposing it. Short one I'm probably gonna put on here as a short, and also on TikTok, and probably on my the other apps that I have, Substack and Blue Sky. I'll probably put it there. Just a shorter video of what I just said. The other thing, I don't know if you saw it today. I asked a question. Never seen a sore winner. I asked a question. That's funny. Bible on Fire. I asked a question today about what is the American dream to you? One of the things that I've been realizing is this man keeps everybody like pissed off. It is hard to have a good day thinking about that fool. It really is. So you ask yourself, like, how can you make, your day a better day, right? Or how can you make better plans to have this thing we call America a better place? And oftentimes, to me, I'm sitting there thinking for my own person, because I'm usually a positive dude other than when I start talking about Trump. And it's just, I always want people to deal with facts. And it's hard to deal with that when you got people who are factless. And I asked that question, what do you believe is the American dream? Is it still something that is reachable? Now, one at a time, let's see, focusing on what was the American dream sold to you. I asked people the same question. I ask my girlfriend the same question. I ask different, people throughout the day. And some people say it was, they could work hard, buy a house, do something of that nature, and have a nice life. And I wrote down the notes. Let me go ahead and say exactly what they said. Let me get that. But that's one of the things, or a few of the things that they were talking about the American dream. Do any of you, what's up, Angry Ginger? Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you. Some people told me that you sent people here. What is the American dream to you? I'll ask you the question as I look for the answers that were given to me. The American dream was, they said, if you work hard, you can own a home. If you start a business, you can compete fairly. If you play by the rules don't change for the rich. It's the same for everybody. If you fall, there's a ladder to rise back up, not a hole to make you sink deeper. Right? Those were some of the things that they said to me. And, people who looked at things and said also, especially like for women, that in this country, women were more free. That was what the movies in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that sold people who were outside the country, the freedom of how women were treated, not like they were treated in other countries, like some Asian countries, some Latin countries, things of this nature, where they saw themselves here, I guess through television and film, the American dream. Like, why would they come here? Because they see that, that the women were free. They could have their own opinions and not be, chastised for it. If they worked hard, they too can be successful. And it wasn't like they didn't necessarily that they didn't want a woman, a man in their lives. They didn't have to have one. It was like a situation where they felt like in other countries that they had to in order to be able to be successful to some degree, right? And that's just some of the things that I got from people that I asked today. And I would love to know from you guys, what is the American dream to you? And I know in some of my comments, as I put it on YouTube earlier as a short, I put it on TikTok, and a lot of people talked about it from a perspective of, it's not real, it's fake, it's that and the third. I'm not asking about what it turned out to be. I'm asking, like, at some point in time, I'm originally from Indiana. I'm a United States citizen through and through. Family been here for hundreds of years. Ancestors are ex-enslaved people. So I don't have this view from outside the country looking in. I have from living inside the country. And I know when I grew up, the American dream that was sold to me was that, you grow up, you get a job, you know what I'm saying? You get a house, you have 2.5 kids, 2 cars, things of that nature. I don't know where you get the half kid from, but you had a dog or a cat, but it usually was sold as a dog. You have a dog. This is like the 70s, 80s. These are the American dreams, ideals that if you asked a person growing up in this country, that's what they thought. At least that's what my perspective. What was yours? And I'm going to read yours. I can't put it up just yet because your boy's still working on that, so I'm going to read it out. Angry Ginger said that the American dream is the freedom to succeed and the knowledge that if you don't, the community will be there to help you back on your feet. Love it. Love it. That's the American dream. Angry Ginger, that's the way he sees it. Being local, I answered that question today. I'm simple and need very little. I don't lust for conspicuous consumption. Oh, I get it. I haven't read all of the comments, but if you can, not necessarily about the things in life, like even if it's not like the American dream to you, not that you need something, like what did you think the American dream was? You know what I'm saying? Like, was it just, I can live in peace. I can be treated just like any other person. You know what I'm saying? I have the right to do whatever I want, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be about money, but everybody has that sense of peace. Like America, to most Americans, we thought of it as being, at least I did, and people that I asked throughout the years, the American dream was that, that feeling like you belonged in this place. Like, what made you feel belonging to this? Stupidity only benefits oligarchs. Right. American dream to me: pursuit of happiness, love, freedom, being treated equally. Okay. Okay. Uh, Let me go back and see if anybody else said anything. I love you too, community. I love supporting each other. Appreciate you being here. Oh, okay. She's talking to. Going back. It's kind of hard to go back. This thing is delayed. Okay, I don't think anybody else. I think Angry was the first one who responded. The Grateful as Americans say, American dream to me. I already seen that. Okay. All right. So we're all hippies and help all. Yeah. Reason why I ask these questions is because I want to really kind of know, like, how far away are you away from your dream? Do you still see the dream possible? Are you living the dream? Right. Because again, personally, my dream was just to basically, be able to succeed at my pace. You know what I'm saying? And success was either, having a wife, kids, that boy, girl. I really was one of those people who just wanted like a boy and a girl. I didn't want to have a bunch of kids. I mean, if I got a boy and a girl, get to experience both of those, to have a house that I own, to have, at least, 2 cars, things of that nature that I was thinking about, to have my own lawn that I could mow. I mean, these are the things that I thought about, and to be able to have a job that I loved and can be able to support myself and a family with that job. Those are the things that I kind of thought about. It wasn't about extraordinary. But then when I got older, I started realizing the abilities that I had where I can create and do things like that I wanted to start a business and started creating wealth for my family so that they wouldn't have to work as hard. As long as I did it, they didn't have to do it. They can start at a different level than me. They didn't have to start from being poor. And I was like, okay, let me do that. So it started to evolve a little. But what I see in this country, since I grew up, is those things aren't available to everybody like it used to be, right? And again, I'm pretty sure people said it never was there because I've seen people say that. But I grew from poverty. My mom, single mom, not a great education. And from where I was to where I am, or where I became at a certain point in my life, it was possible for me. And even though I went through all the racism and all those things like that, I still was able to achieve in many levels to get to places that, my ancestors had never gotten. And so I saw that as the American dream. But now I see it as like, what's changed big time is it is hard to be able to raise a family and do all these things on one salary. It's damn near impossible unless you have a career. You're not going to do it with a job. A career, yeah. Job, no. And a lot of people, even to this day, still some of my friends, even my age, don't know the difference between a job and a career. And just to define it to some degree, not in depth, but at least on the surface, a job is, something that you don't necessarily need to have a skill or trait to do. You just have to work hard to do it. You can learn on the job. A career is that you have to have some kind of level of education or, knowledge about it. Like I can go work for an accountant, then I can be their assistant. That's a job. But if I became the accountant, that's a career because you need me. The assistant don't necessarily need. I can get anybody to just file the papers, but I need somebody who knows what the hell they're doing to actually fill out the forms. So a job and a career. Person who has a career can, because they have a special niche of education and intellect to be able to accomplish a job, accomplish something, a task that has value. Not that an assistant or like that doesn't have value. It's just the fact that you're being paid by the person who has the career. Therefore, you're going to get paid lesser than the person who has a career. So those types of things, to say that it's possible to make money to live off of as a job, it's almost something that you can't reach now, especially when they're talking about minimum wage, is less than 15 and they're trying to get $15 and they're acting like you're asking for $1 million with $15. It's insane. All right. Like shooting fish in a barrel, your client is the fish. Immigration law. go back here with the silent siren. He says, my American dream would be to be able to pay off my student loans and buy a house and afford it. All right now. And see, something like that is harder now than it used to be. You would think that we've evolved and things would be easier. Now, don't get me wrong. There's other ways to make money now that you couldn't make money back then. Like me doing what I do, social media, giving you guys facts and different things of that nature. You can make money today. Can you make a career? I'm pretty sure you can if you did this like 24/7 and you had a team and all that stuff like that, of course. But you can barely get by, but you can do something if you were doing this and actually added some value. But you can tell like for the majority of like 9 to 5 type jobs, it's hard to pull that off. It really is. Almost everybody I know, even if they have a career, they do stuff on the side because things cost so much. They'll either get off their job and go do Uber for like 2 or 3 hours or whatever it may be, or Uber Eats or Instacart or whatever it may be, right? Or, they'll do some kind of side gig, no matter what it is. I don't care if they're doing buying stocks or, day trading or whatever the hell it is. And that's not really a side job. It's a lot of work. If anybody tells you that's a side job, they lie to you. That's just hard as hell. I got friends who do it, and it's just like, it's extreme. They barely sleep, and they make a lot of money, but they barely sleep, but don't let anybody sell that to you. But anyway, so there's so many different ways to make money, but not that many people want to be doing 5 to 7 jobs, even though if you can automate them where you don't have to work, you just have to check on them. Not too many people want to do that because it does take somewhat of a sporadic brain to be like, I got 7 different jobs and I got to keep all of them juggling, even if it is just 1 to 2 hours a day to be able to take care of it. And you got to automate it. It still takes a lot. And most people just want their peace. They want to go to work. They want to come home. They want to have a drink, chill out and watch their favorite whatever with their friends and family, or grab something to eat, go to sleep, and do it all over again and make enough to be able to have a nice life, retire in a place and things of that nature. That's not as easy as it used to be. It's so far away. And that's the reason why I ask people, I was like, what is the American dream? Then just to get you thinking, like, how do you think we can get that back? How do you think we can get that back? I know you're not going to be able to think of it right now, but just put that on your mind and heart. Like, how can we get that back? The Angry Junior said, day trading is exhausting and stressful. It really is. I remember a friend of mine tried to get me in on that. This was about 20 years ago. And he was like, man, it's supposedly it's like easy. It's not easy, but it's like it's easier than you think. And I was like, okay, let me go ahead and look at it. And I had to read like so many different books. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am a narrative type of guy. You got to get my attention. I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't know what it is. But if it ain't no narrative and it ain't got my heartstrings pulling, it ain't getting me amped and give me energy, it's putting me to sleep. So that was hella putting me to sleep. But I was sitting there reading, I got through the book, started trying it, and it is intense. It is intense. You really got to know your stuff. You got to go through trial and error like anything else, but it's intense. So Angry Ginger is 100% right on that. So I got friends who do it, but I hate it when people, I got to see it all the time on my feed. I don't even know why it's on my feed now. I don't even get into it. I've never even stopped at one of their videos. But for some reason, I'm getting them all over the place. You can do this and make this much. I made $30,000 in a day. I'm like, yeah, you lost about 150. You got back 30. Quit lying. Quit lying to everybody. But anyway, Angry Ginger, you got to have a side hustle to survive nowadays. And that's the part right there. That's 100% it right there. You got to have a side hustle. And I've always had a side hustle, to be honest, in my life. I've always had one. I had one when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I started out when I was a kid. My mom was a single mom. I had a brother and a sister, so she was raising 3 kids by herself. I saw that, she would be down often because she was doing it all by herself. My mom was, you ever seen In Living Color, and they had that segment, hey, Mon, don't sue me. Don't sue me just because I did that. They had, hey, Mon. So And and they had like I got 15 jobs. That was my mom. She wasn't Jamaican, but she was Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? Through comedy. She had so many jobs, yo. It was just like she was rotating them. You know what I mean? She couldn't be at home all the time. So I was a latchkey kid. So we were trying our best to make things happen. Thank you, Seven Dust. I appreciate you. And as a kid, thank you again, 515. Can I say thank you? Because last time it wouldn't let me. Oh, okay. Let me do that real quick. It wouldn't let me. Thank you. Let me see if I can do a 7 and 2. But I'm working. Be the first thing. Thank you. I'm working, and as a kid, I'm sitting there like, I want to get a job. My mom was like, "Boy, you like 8 years old. Ain't nobody gonna give you no job." I'm like, "I can cut lawn or do something." She's like, "I ain't gonna trust you with no blade. Forget that." So I couldn't do anything to help my mom out. But in my heart of hearts, I said, I gotta do something. So my uncle, let me get him. People who see my show often, not this one, but TikTok, they'll see. This is my uncle. He passed away with ALS. Got that leather tan jacket, a church jacket. I love that man. He passed away when I was 18. The afro and everything. He's the coolest man ever known. And tall, muscular. And that man used to come to my house when we was kids, because that was her only brother, her older brother, her only brother, but he's older than her. And he saw that, I was a straight A student. I was doing right by things and stuff like that. He said, "You're doing a good job, young man." And I was, always hug my uncle. And he gave me $5 one day. And I was sitting there like, "Oh, shoot, I could get this to my mom. She could pay a bill." I was 8 or 7 or 8. Be quiet. So I thought I could help her pay a bill. You know what I'm saying? And, my mom's like, "Oh, thank you. You can keep that, hon. It ain't going to do nothing. That, you can have that." I'm like, "All right, cool." So then I was saying, like, I can't work and my mom's not happy right now. So how can I help? So I went, I asked my brother, who's older than me, and he was going to the record store. And he said, I said, "Can I go with you?" He's like, "Yeah." So I went to the record store with my brother. And back in the day, the record store had what they call penny candy. Yeah, I'm 54, penny candy. So we go there. And it was like blackjack or some shit. I said, "Put it all on 5. Give me $5 of candy." So I put all that money on just getting $5 of candy. My brother's like, "Man, your teeth gonna fall out." But he didn't know my plan. He didn't know I had a strategy. And I don't know, it had to be God, because I wasn't taught how to be an entrepreneur at all as a kid, as a child. Didn't even know what it was. And probably I was good at spelling. I went and spelling bees. Pretty sure I could have spelled it, but it wasn't something that was on my mind. But I went home and I devised a plan. I'm like, I got all this candy. I can go to school and sell each one of them for more than a penny. I don't want to be carrying home a bunch of pennies. So I sell them for a nickel, and I sell this for a dime. I sell this for a quarter. And so at lunchtime, instead of your boy eating, I would go to table, and this is a little 8-year-old hustling. Go to table. "Want some candy? I got that candy for you." I was the candy man. And I made a lot of money. I was bringing home all kind of, coin, back then, coin. So I would go to my uncle. He gave me that $5. I said, "Unc," he was like, "What?" I said, "Can you take me to the bank so I can get some of I got some change and I want to get it turned into dollars." And he was like, "Yeah, sure. And he said, "I got time, whatever." So, so he would take me to the bank. But before he took me to the bank, I'd asked some another family member, an aunt, if she can give me the little wraps, nickel, dime, and quarter, wraps and shit back in the day. And so I had wrapped it all up and put it in and counted it out. So I come out with this big ass trash bag filled with nickels, quarters, and dimes. Heavy as shit. Carrying this thing. He's like, "What you got there?" I was looking, opened up. He looked at it. He was just shocked to see this little 8-year-old kid was carrying, like he's like at a bank, like he had robbed it or something. He had this bag filled with coins. And so he helped me. He went to the bank. We cashed it in. And I said, don't tell mom, because I don't want her to know. And he knew that I was raising money to pay bills for my mom. So he had no problem. He gave me another. He said, "Here's $5. Go do your thing," or And so I continue to do that to be able to help my mom. And then, but the thing that's so funny, just to tell you these stories, the thing that was so funny is, your boy was funny to me. It's like I put the money under her mattress so that I wouldn't have to tell her. She'd just find it, right? And I guess it had mounted up to the point where she was like Princess and the Pea. She felt it. She's like, what the hell? She looked under it. I looked under it. And I don't know. I don't have to tell y'all if y'all black. Maybe not. Maybe it's other cultures. I only know about black because I am black. My mom found this money and she thought automatically that somebody stole it. So she was on a mad dash to beat somebody's ass. So my mom was looking around like, who stole this money? And who I got to give it back to? And that's what happened. I ended up helping her out with it. And she got mad and all stuff like that. Then I told her what it was. Then she cried. So the thing is that the reason why I said like these types of things that she was fighting throughout her whole life to have this American dream. She ended up getting it later on after we had moved out and things of that nature. And I had a piece of this thing as well. But I don't see it for my kids. I don't see this American dream for my kids. Not because they can't have like 4 or 5 jobs to probably pull it off. It's that they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to have 4 or 5 jobs to pull this off. You know what I mean? And that's what this society's like now. There's men can't even buy a tub of fresh popcorn for $18 in the theater. It's pre-pop. You guys are hilarious. I'm watching your comments. But helping out the people you love. So that was my story of growing up and seeing, like, even though we couldn't reach the American dream, like everybody was saying, we had like the stereotype of what the American dream was until later on in life. It was just the consistent, I say struggle maybe to actually get there. It was always something that you thought was within reach. But not anymore. I mean, corporations are buying homes out from under people. It's just sad. And so my thing is like, I always try to think of solutions on how can we get that back. It's going to take all of us, at least, I ain't gonna say all of us, but it's going to take a lot of us to come together and figure this out. Because again, when it comes down to it, it's the people that make everything. But how do we get the people on the same plane? No matter what party you're in, no matter what race, color, or creed you are, no matter what kind of sexuality you may have, the American dream is almost always the same with each every one of us. I mean, there may be some additions to some people may not have as many things they want, but you all want the pursuit of happiness. You want the pursuit of love, being able to be loved, or be in a relationship. You want to be free, to be able to speak and say and do what you want to do. Of course, there's repercussions for doing things illegally and all that, but for the most part, those types of things, you want a democracy and not a dictatorship. You don't want to wake up every day and stressing about what your government's going to do. You really want your government on cruise control and at least focused on doing right by people. There's so many different things that I think of when I think of American dream, and I think all of us kind of like want it. But I don't think there's really any kind of concerted effort to keep it. And that part is what I'm trying to focus on. We need people to actually try and focus on not only keeping it, but making this country better. We got a lot we can work on, but it first takes the guts to say what's not working. It's not about blaming people. It's about taking responsibility, but it ain't about blaming people. It's about going through the pain so that we can get to that happiness, that pleasure part. A lot of us, as far as country goes, we're so divided because we think what we want and love about this country is different, but oftentimes it's not. I mean, if you're racist and sexist, that's a whole different other world. If you're against people who are, and people are against people who are like disabled. There are people who just can't stand disabled people. I just didn't know that existed, but it's true. I actually, a person that I had known for a while that I'm no longer friends with. And I didn't know that was a thing. And I was like, man, I don't see how people can just hate people who are homeless or people who are down on their luck. I'm like, how could you hate them? They ain't doing shit to you. But just being in his eyesight, he was just sickened by it. I'm like, wow. And know it's so trip. That dude was homeless at one point in his life. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get people who are mean to other people and disrespect to other cultures when your culture was fucked over so much, but yet you treat people like people treated you. I'm like, can we get over this shit already and just want to have like a life where we all can like coexist without stepping on each other and appreciating each other's culture instead of trying to steal it or rob people for it or whatever the hell it is. I think it comes back to like that American dream has to be something that we can kind of agree on, and some things that we can agree to disagree without being disagreeable or just outright being an asshole about it. So those are the types of things that, that I think about on the regular, because I don't know about you, but I mean, I don't know what it is just because of my age or whatever, but I've been tired for a long time trying to fight things that it seems like oftentimes you're alone in it. You're really not, but you just can't find those people who believe in the same things. And then it doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but just those core principles of what an American dream is kind of starts to rebuild the foundation of what we all believe in to some degree. And that's why I kind of want to know. That's why I ask these questions, because I want to know what the mind is of the people that are either drawn to you or around you. What is your mindset? And I know it's all different, but if we all put thoughts into the pot, we can find solutions that benefit us all. And celebrate our differences instead of trying to make ourselves a monolith. There are things that we're just don't like and won't do. And those are the things that I look at. I don't know what just happened, but my chat just disappeared on my app. That's crazy. But if I'm still live, hope so. But anyway, select the stream. What's going on? Give me a second. My screen just disappeared. That is the weirdest thing. Refresh it. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah. For some reason, everything's disappeared on my end. I don't know whether it's a point where you still see me. This app freaks out every once in a while for me. But anyway, I'm going to keep talking about it. But I just don't understand how people just don't want the same things. And I started to realize that there are people who just love seeing other people hurt. And that's just sick. It's just sick. It's like, why can't you just let people be who they are and be happy? It's not going to hurt you any. Drink for technical difficulties. Yeah, Angry John. I mean, it just disappeared. I've never seen it. Just the whole screen went white. I'm like, hello? What happened? But it's still going in another area. Maybe it's just OBS that had a problem. I'm not sure. But I ain't got anything to drink, man. I haven't had any what do you say? Yeah, I don't know what I can and cannot say on here, but yeah, I haven't had anything adult drinks in a minute. Let me see. I'm just answering some of you guys' questions. Because hurt people hurt people. Angry, yeah, that's true. Hurt people do hurt people, but the point is, like, for me, it's like, how do you stop the hurt? I mean, I understand that people have problems in their lives. I get it, but to me, it's all about, I mean, everybody's had hurt in their life. It's how you process it. It's how you process it. I've had pain in my life, but I don't process it so that I send that pain over to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I try to heal it within myself, Everybody does something different. And you can't get everybody on the same plane. So for my thing, it's really trying to get as many people as possible to kind of revisit personally what the American dream is to you. And then to see if it's already there for you And if it is, your example of what the American dream might be a good testimony for somebody else to be able to achieve it. So that's what, I'm focused on, I'm working on. I'm gonna start working on that. Not necessarily a series, but I'm working on a document to try and focus on like what is the American dream and how can we obtain it, or at least make a plan on what to obtain. One of the things I realized in this country that has robbed a lot of people of their of even achieving the American dream is the monopoly on businesses. It used to be that you could start your own business and grow, and it used to be before. I want to say, who was it? Well, it was somebody's son. I remember being in college at the time. I think it was the son of is a black guy whose son, I forgot the name of his son, but I think he had the same name as his dad. But he worked for the government and the FCC. He was the head of the FCC, and then they decided to work on the antitrust laws, and they allowed corporations to basically. He was a Republican. I think his dad was a Democrat, but allowed them. Jesse Jackson's sons, I think it is. I think it was his son, Jesse Jackson's son. I want to say, I'm not 100% sure, but and he released or relaxed on the laws for antitrust, and therefore these corporations started to become monopolies, started owning up so many different stations and all these different things of that nature, which put a chokehold on small businesses. And when you put a chokehold on small businesses, it's damn near impossible for the American dream for everybody. Because now when you want to do something, you literally can be bought out. And therefore, generational wealth for your family is really not obtainable. Just enough to, hey, let me sell another business. Let me sell another business. Let me sell another business. And as that started to happen, people were just flipping businesses. And it became a situation where billionaires existed, a lot of them in the United States, when they weren't there before. Because we've been able to consolidate business after business. And most of the time, those businesses were kicking small businesses out of the market. And then it got to the point where they became evil with it. Don't let you be behind a bill or two or owe, whatever from your business. And they would go behind your back, take it from you. It was, this country has done some of the most egregious things. And again, I remember starting off with the FCC relaxing the rules. Let me see if he has Jesse Jackson. I want to say it was Jesse Jackson Jr., maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe he wasn't a Republican. For now, I'll take that back because I don't know for sure it's him. It looks like it could be him, but I don't know 100%. And this is straight fact, so I'm going to take it back for now. But I'll find out for the next show. But I know it was a representative that decided to get rid of the FCC, and this was like 20-something years ago, maybe, whatever it was. And it was just insane. I was screaming at the TV, or when I heard it, I was like, dude, what are you doing? This is going to hurt all of us small businesses that you're allowing us to not be able to compete with them anymore. So many businesses closed after that. And that was painful. Very painful. And it continued down the road to where we are now. So my thing is, in order to get it back, we have to start doing some of the things we did back then. And that is not allowing for these companies to become monopolies, that they can only own, a smaller percentage. They can't own like 50% of the market. They can get to a max of 20 or 25 or something like that, and then see how that works. I think it'll bring back, first of all, competition. At the same time, what it does is that it makes it harder for these organizations to price gouge you. When you've opened up the market where there can be a lot of small or mid-sized businesses that can sell the same product as these large corporations and have connections direct wholesale to other countries to get it done, just like these large companies, and get great deals, they can bring down the prices of different things. All right. And that is one way for the American dream to start coming back, is to be able to enhance those laws, and where make them more regulations on monopolies. You can't have them. And now I guess it's like they say you can't have monopolies, but they still do, because they give them like such a high percentage of when it becomes a monopoly. These antitrust laws have got to change, because again, every time they've changed it, it's been for the rich. Just like the NAFTA was done for the rich, but they were told it was going to be done for the middle class and the poor. You guys will get great jobs. They never explained, even back then, how are you going to get more jobs when you're sending everything overseas? That doesn't make any sense. We're going to create jobs. Don't ever listen to a politician tell you that jobs are going to leave and then you're going to get more jobs. They never create jobs. You know who create jobs? The middle class, the poor trying to get places, like starting a business, small and mid-sized businesses. That's who create jobs in this country. The rich, they do enough to keep their company running. And if they can, they will cut that many employees and make you do 2 and 3 jobs instead of 1. They've always been about them, but because they have money, many of us believe they got our backs when they hire us for 100,000 or whatever and say they're doing it for everybody. I'm like, dude, they're literally doing it for 20,000 people in the whole damn United States. They ain't doing it for everybody. I think most people just think about themselves, and thinking about other people is hard. It's hard for a lot of Americans. It's not hard for me. I'm sure many of you it's not hard for, but when you go out into this world, you'll see it's hard for some of these people to literally give a damn about anybody else but themselves. It is. But anyway, that enough of the dire like silence is super sad. But I want to make it better. And therefore, like I said, everything's like in life is, if you really want to get to another side, you got to go through the worst part, and then you can get to the best part. So me asking you about the American dream was really trying to find out, what do you see it is, and what do you want it to come back, or it's already here for you? If it is here for you, then, but I haven't seen anybody say that they already live in it. Lifts all boats. Most definitely Angry Ginger is the engine of America, and we need to move the impoverished into the middle class. Angry Ginger, you are 100% right. See, that's what I'm telling you. I was working today. I thought about this today, and I'm not lying. I'm telling you like it is. I've been thinking about writing my own, not Project 2025, but I'm calling it Project American Dream, and dissecting all the things that Americans were promised and how Americans can actually get those things back, or at least get them on track. And you hit it nail on the head by talking about the middle class. We need to get the poorer class, or the lower class. I'm gonna say lower, but you know what I mean. Class people, impoverished people, to the middle class. And a lot of the technology that I've been developing and working on has to do with that. It's been on my mind since I was a kid, and I didn't really kind of like attach the two, but I always said when I was a kid, when I was doing that for my mom, in which, my mom and we were poor, after helping my mom out, on my heart was about helping the poor, because we were. And I used to see that they were poorer people than us, believe it or not, which shocked me. A woman working, and you had people who had a family, mom and dad, were poorer than me and my mom and my brothers and sisters. At least that's what it felt like. And I would see it, and I would say to myself over and over again, like, how could we help the poor, even though we were poor? And I went to my mom and I said, basically, because I've been helping her, I said, how could I? And this, I'm like 8 years old, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm like, I said, Mom, we could, if we got, I'm from Indiana, so Michael Jackson, also I guess from Indiana. So I said, Mom, if we got Michael Jackson and we got Teddy Pendergrass and we got, I was just mentioning all the people, Diana Ross, I mentioned like the whole cast of the Wiz. It's like, if they could just come together, man, we could probably get poverty. And I started thinking about like community ways to get rid of poverty. And my mom was like, boy, they ain't thinking about it. They're trying to get their own money. They ain't thinking about helping nobody like that. This is this is 1978, 79. And I'm like, damn, I thought as a kid, like, how could I do that? And then here it is. And I used to have it on my heart even when I was in my 20s. I remember I moved to LA. I'm from Indiana. And I was driving on Gower going down to Melrose. That time I was working for the Arsenio Hall show. And I'm driving down the street and I stopped. And I think it was like Gower and Sunset or something. I see this homeless person. I still remember it. I had to be like 25, somewhere around there, whatever it was. And I'm looking at this homeless person. I remember saying, if we could all put in $1 a month, like Americans put in $1 a month, we could probably end poverty. I didn't know the numbers. There was no Chat GPT back then, but I just had it on my heart and I just drove. And many years later, I come up with this app to be able to help end poverty. And it had that same type of mentality, but it wasn't like giving any money away. It was about leveraging your buying power and therefore making money instead of, making money by other means. You're making money by every time you shop, you get paid. So I got that app. I'm still working on it. But these are the things that I've always thought, like, how as a people can we decide amongst ourselves, those who care about each other as human beings, why do we have to rely on those assholes who don't? There's enough of us to make life better for us and say, fuck them, because they don't care. They'd rather see you in a cardboard box and laugh at you than give a fuck about giving you a hand or lift you up. Why do we want to deal with them? Why would we want to buy a product from them? Why would we want to do anything with them? And I just don't. If you got that type of mentality, I don't want to give you money so that I can actually feed that beast. I wouldn't want to do that. But you can't know what that is because, again, it's always hidden. But if you build something that would attract the type of people like this app or this American Dream, Project American Dream, the people who it will turn their stomachs about us helping people, they won't get the app. Hence, if there was a situation like that, we could be able to work together. The loving people, the caring people, the non-racist people, the non-sexist people, the non-judgmental people can literally change the world the way we see it. And you think about it, whenever you hear the stats from any poll, the majority of us are like that. It's always broken down to like 70, 30% who don't, or 80, 20% who don't, or 60, 40% who don't. It's always the majority that wants something like this. But we never have the power to make it happen. We never have a plan to actually just implement so that people can just wake up and do it every day. It's not made easy. But if we made it easy, that you can do what you need to do within the first 30 minutes of waking up in a day or throughout the day, that it doesn't take too much of your time, we can make it work. That's the way I see it. But I'm working on that. I'll let you know, Angry Ginger, what I come up with. We need to vote in our own interest. We need to educate ourselves. We need to be active and speak up. And we need to role model our values. 100%. 100%. It's crazy how all these things you're talking about, I was writing today, is on my computer right now. It's on my phone, actually. All those things you just mentioned, and I wrote like a booklet somewhat, because it was just, every time I got finished, I was writing on it. I took a break, I write on it. It's just so passionate about changing that. But you're right. That's all those things is what I'm working on. Sounds like you're working on them too. Might connect and talk about it sometime. My dad being as low intelligence and unmotivated, doing as well as he did is really amazing. He worked as a tool and die setter for AMC. He made a ton of money. I can say it, I guess, on his app. Fuck ton of money for a low educated individual. Oh, that's nice, Rude. I mean, and again, in this country, in a certain time in history, you really could just bust your butt and make a living. So much that you could actually leave something for your kids because, you know, first of all, things didn't cost as much. You could get a house depending on like when they first started building the suburbs, but black people couldn't do it. But when you first started doing the suburbs, it was like $4,000 to $6,000 of land and things of that nature. To $4,000 to $8,000. Like the largest plot was like $8,000. But by the time we can get into it, 68 somewhere around there, it was about 20 something grand, whatever. Still was in reach, right? But now for our kids, when I got in, you know, the houses were anywhere between in the 90s, 99, somewhere around there. It went between two in LA even. You could get some in a nice area from a little bit over 200, nice piece of land, all the way up to, of course, millions in certain areas. But I'm talking about just middle class. You can get into a middle class, nice neighborhood, clean neighborhood, $200,000 to like, 500,000 was like the largest house was 500,000 in these communities that were pretty much north of LA, Los Angeles. Now those same houses are 600,000 or $1 million. So when you look at your kids, you're like, yeah, you don't make the kind of money I was making when I was working in the industry. So I don't see how they're going to afford those homes, and they can't. So yeah, so those are the types of things that, I want to try and help bring back. But, little by little, it takes the energy that you got, the motivation to do something like that. And I'm gonna start writing it down and our meetings for members. I think we'll just go over it there and start talking about, individual things and jumping off each other saying, hey, what's this? You like this? You don't like that? And I'll just take note and add it to it so that we have good American people, a collective of people, not just a monolith, coming up with a new strategy. Again, who cares if it's not implemented for the whole world or whole United States? It can be implemented for us in many ways until it takes a hold, if it does, and becomes bigger. So I'm working on that. Just keep it 100 with you. Thank you, Five Alarm Fire. We have got to build a community and support each other. It's going to take all of us over several platforms. Let's make this happen. Most definitely. And that's what I told you. I'm going to, like I said, mine. Let me know. Mine, what I'm doing is Project American Dream. That's what I'm naming it, tentatively, And once I start getting some of it together, I'll just send it out and as a document or whatever, and maybe Google Docs or something. Give people the link, go to it, and make notes and stuff like that. Make it almost like open source so that we could, write on it and, don't erase anybody's stuff, but just up under yours. If you don't like that, add another line that you think would be better. And then, send it back. We all vote on it and we pick which ones are right and which one we think will be better for us. At least try something. I mean, it takes, first it takes one person to start it, in order us to have a village of people who really want things to change and really want it to be a fair society. One of the things that I noticed is what I'm developing is that I don't want it to be a part of these buzzwords of what Democrats or Republicans or whatever they may say. Like if being fiscally conservative is a real thing, not a Republican or Democrat thing. Literally paying for whatever it is that you got instead of going into debt all the time is fiscally conservative. That's fiscally, responsible. And so I don't want these, terms like, oh, it's socialist if you want to. No, 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 no. We ain't focusing on doing that. We're focusing on what individual things that our society needs to change for it to make it a better place for us all. And like I said, one for me immediately is to not allow these people to become just extreme billionaires or trillionaires. We should not see a trillionaire in our lifetime. Because again, what do you need that for? And you can, if your business takes you there, fine and dandy. But another one is we should not be able to, we need to take corporate money out of politics. You should not be able to buy a senator or a representative. You should not be able to put more than a set amount. You shouldn't be able to do these things. And these are the things that I've been coming up with. We should not be able to have these PACs putting hundreds of millions of dollars of stuff on television. We should make sure that television cannot air no more than so much money. I don't know what it is. Let's say $5,000 worth of an ad from any particular person or whatever it may be. But that's just a number I just threw out of my head. It may be 500,000, whatever it may be. You can't just throw money at shit. Like Elon's talking about giving people $1 million to vote or some shit. I'm like, well, this is highly illegal. What are we doing here? And if it ain't illegal, it should be. You feel me? So it's crazy. Shit can Citizens United. I am, but I hope I can react to him supporting Trump eventually. Oh, you to my family member or something? All right, thanks. We were working on a Discord server for bringing together content creators. All right, Silent Sire, let me know. Hit me up with the invitation link. Troy is expensive everywhere. Willful ignorance is not a choice. Yeah. Hey, Leslie, how you doing? I'm glad you liked the title, but yeah, it's Project American Dream. And like I said, once I write out the skeleton of it, I'll put it up like on Google Docs, and I'll just during our membership, because I don't want knuckleheads going in there messing with stuff. But during our all the people who are members, I'll give it to you. We'll have a membership live, and I'll put it in the comments. So I think only members can see that. I'm 100%. Well, I can say 100% sure. I'm 90% sure. And then that way, you guys who are members who are serious about this can be able to like just go in and look at it, and edit it or throw comments, and so therefore I can edit it whatever way we go about it. But yeah, this way we have say so. And one of the other things that I told you about that I want to develop, and I'm talking to my computer programmers tomorrow, is an app for us to hold our representatives accountable. We should know everything they vote for, and we should be able to directly connect to them. Like they have apps on their personal phones or things of that nature. We should have, even on their government phone, there should be an app for the people to be able to connect and say, this particular bill, your constituents say this, or Americans say that. I would rather be their constituents, because then that's who they're beholden to. So whoever your person is, I'm in California, that person can open their app and they'll see on that bill the majority of their constituents want them to say no. If they say yes, then that person is not for you. By the time that person comes up to be reelected, you can look at what they've agreed with you with or disagreed with you with via the app and know that they're 70% against everything you believe. Then more than likely, not unless they were right and you were wrong, which can happen, if it didn't benefit you, but if everything you said came to fruition and that person didn't listen, then 70% of the time they voted against our best interest. You don't have to vote for them. And that tally should be strong enough that the corporate dollars don't matter, because no matter how much these people give you money, 70% of the people, or in that particular sense, you'll have a register, they're not going to vote for you. Now they have a better understanding of what the people really believe and what the people say they will do. course, we can send out polls and stuff like that during the process and say, based on the percentage of your representative representing your particular interest, would you vote for them this coming election? And you get to see that these are real people. And the only way they're on here is because they got a voting record. Not everybody can get on. You got to put your voting information on. Then you can say, look, we know for a fact 70% of your constituents aren't going to vote for you. Simple as that. No matter how much your president or your billionaire wants to give you money, you can't manufacture votes. Your constituents aren't voting for you because you voted against their interest. See, most people don't have a tally of that. You kind of have an idea of the person, and you see they've done a few things, and you're like, he was kind of a nice guy. We deal with personality politics as opposed to actual stats. So us people who love facts, we can see that and be like, nope, didn't do it. Didn't do it. Eat something after. I see you, DJ. What's going on? Yeah, I'm going to eat something here in a minute. It's almost 7, so I'm about to get up off here and go do the show here in a few. Thank you for all the gifting the 5 membership. I appreciate that. Welcome, Kitty, Miss Pig. I don't like Mrs. Pig. I don't like saying that. Baroness Fahrenheit, Lynn McCleary, and Rebecca Barr. Welcome. But yeah, those are the types of things that I'm focused on. Right, Troy Scott? I'm telling you, the app I'm talking about building for us, I'm talking to my app people this weekend, tomorrow in the morning. There are a few sweet apps that I want to make for the people so that we can hold each other accountable, hold our constituents. The constituents know what's going on in their communities. And then also, and that's cool too, to be able to know how many people in your community actually, if they're on this app, they actually vote. And being able to know whether, the report card or whether the person who's in office is doing it for you. Because I think this way, some of these representatives or senators have been in office way too long, and we have no idea what kind of record they have for or against our interest. We just may have checked out one thing that we wanted him or her to vote on, and they may have voted on that. And I'm like, oh, hey, that person's from, but they may have voted on 17 other things that were against my interest, but we never know. So I think we should have a scorecard, and therefore the people are taking back control, because it should be for the people and by the people. Now it's for the rich people, right? And so we have to take that control and that power out of their hands. And I think what we got to do is not only through technology, but, through talking to one another, to getting to know one another. One of the things that makes them thrive is our division. Our division allows the wealthy to be able to destroy our lives, and we'll think they're actually trying to help us. There are many like MAGA people who thought that Donald Trump was going to be better for them, and you're seeing them pop up left and right. I saw three, 2 ladies, 1 man, I think it was. But I saw the woman, she worked for the government, and she voted for Donald Trump. And in her town, she worked for the government. She wasn't in Washington, D.C. But they laid off a lot of them. And so she, she said, I would never vote for him again. I made a mistake and things of that nature. And, I'm out of that phase of like, I was in that phase of like, you suck. You should have never voted for him to begin with. I'm like, she shouldn't have voted for him to begin with. But as long as you don't came out of the darkness and into the light, I'm like, all right, cool. Because at the same time, one of the other ladies, she lost her job, and they asked her the question, would you vote for him again? And she's all disappointed. And she's basically saying, I'm not sure. Now, that person, I would say, you deserve what you got, because you ain't even learned your lesson after you got messed over. It's sad. But it is what it is. It's our job to educate. That's right. What do you use for software development? For me, I don't, I've been teaching myself code, but the people who work with me, they use PHP. That's for, again, certain different things. They got I'm trying to remember the name of them, all the different things. They work on all, like, the anything for Android, and for the other one does for like Apple products and stuff like that. But they do C++. I mean, it's a little bit of everything that they do, to be honest. But I think one of them, their major thing is doing Python. He's in here, actually. He's usually in here. His major thing is Python. If he's in here tonight, I ain't gonna put him on blast, but his major thing is Python. If he's in here, he can tell you. But I'm meeting with him tomorrow. But he's a Python person. Why do you do apps yourself? You're a developer side of side. What do you work on mostly? 'Cause I know with doing for the web stuff, they mostly do. They do it for me is PHP, of course, and then again what he's building off of is Python. But he told me he works on a lot of it, building software, and I think he's self-taught. And then I guess the other lady, I forgot what she told me. She told me like three different things that she's meeting with. But I'm meeting with them for the first time on these programmers. So I don't know everything in detail what they have, but I've had stuff built. But we're having this. We've met a bunch of times, but we're meeting this time specifically for the apps. Is it a company? What, mine? It's everything that I do is under my company, yeah. But for what we're doing, is focused on helping the Black community to be able to focus on the things that we need. One of the things I realized after this election was that there's a lot of Black people who were hurt. That's why you see a lot of Black people mad, and even myself. And we were hurt that people didn't listen. It's like, dude, I mean, we've been through this before, 100 times before. We went through, enslavement for 400 years. Give us some credit about what the hell we're saying. We're telling this dude is batshit crazy. We're not saying it because we just dislike the dude. It's the things he's saying. And so a lot of people got hurt. And so that void, even myself feeling it, I felt like I needed to connect with my people and say, like, what is going on? We need to unify and figure something out. So most of the stuff that we're working on is being able to try and find out, like, nobody's coming to help. So we got to figure out a way to pull our communities up, pull the bootstraps up for our community without having to ask people who don't care about us, right? Just to do it ourselves. And so that's what that is. And we talk a lot about that on sometimes on the weekends. And we're developing software that's helping us, grow and get out of the cycle, instead of having people tell us, just pull your own bootstraps up, or you don't deserve reparations. I'm tired of hearing what other people think how our community should grow. So I was like, you know what, we can do it. So we're working on a suite of apps to help us grow. But at the same time, like I said, it's always been on my heart to help the poor and help the middle class. Like I said, one of the things that I wanted to, if I were in charge of anything in this country, I would literally give the subsidies to the middle class and the poor, and give the loans for businesses to the wealthy. They can pay it back. You get the subsidies to the middle class and the poor, or small businesses and mid-sized businesses. They have to grow. Therefore, they will have to create jobs in order for their business to survive. They ain't gonna be able to have 4 workers take on, millions of dollars worth of work that the subsidies will offer. No, you got to go on a hiring spree. So if they have to go on a hiring spree, them getting this money, they're going to create a lot of jobs. Rich people, they already got the structure in place. They're going to fire people and make you work harder. So that's one thing I would want to do if I was in office. I'd be like, you know what? No more subsidies to the rich. The rich, we're giving you loans. The middle class and the small businesses and the mid-sized businesses, we're giving you the subsidies. Go out there and make shit happen. And then we're going to put regulations. We didn't put regulations on the rich. That was a mistake. We need to put regulations even on the middle class and the middle class, the small businesses and mid-sized businesses, is that if you say that you're going to do this, you have to create 200 jobs minimum, 500 jobs minimum. None of this buying back stock type of shit. None of that. So those are the types of things I would do. There you go. See, save wit. Running errands. I do Python, PHP, JavaScript. See, I was trying to remember them all. Save wit. I knew it was a lot, so it's like I told you. There you go. Let me come back up and talk to y'all for a second. Our site is VBS script or VB script, SQL, JavaScript, but we're building our new site as a cloud-based Angular. All right. What is your site, Silent Siren? Let us know so I can check it out. The Save Whip. I'm connecting with him and another a young lady. Actually, not to say which the lady. I said another person. A young lady tomorrow, my time, 9 a.m. So yeah. So no, it's definitely. I thought the black dudes came out for Trump heavier. I thought the black dudes came out for Trump heavier in 2024. I think they did. It came, I think before they had like 10%, 12% last time. And then this time it was close to 20. So they did. But, I don't know. I don't know why that type of thing happened. I think, I know I heard the reasons why for so many of them, but I don't know if that was all of them, just the ones that I heard. But some of them that I know of, there were segments of them. Some of them was misogynist. They just didn't want to have a woman running. Some of them just like Trump, just because he was, that villain thing. There's something in not just our culture, but in many. But I'm just gonna speak for black culture. It's like we like that thug life type of shit. You know what I'm saying? That people, not all of us, but I'm just saying as a part of us that likes, these gangster movies and this dude that has the money and the power, and they fall in love with that type of character like they do with some of these gangster rappers and shit. And it's just like some group of them, it's like that's what they see. And I'm like, I don't see that, not at all. But then, some people say like his policies, and I would like ask all the time, what policy, which one? They don't know any. So I just don't trust anything that people say, because it's like when you ask them the facts, like what policy you like or why do you like them, it's always blank. It's a feeling more than anything, or it's a hatred. You know what I mean? He's going to get rid of immigrants. He's going to get rid of trans people. He's going to get rid of women having abortions or whatever. I'm like, sounds like everything you want is to harm somebody else. That's what you're voting for, to harm other people. I'm like, what do you want in life? That's their lives. What do you want in life? I think they're stuck on the hatred more so than the progression of themselves. Some of them. I don't know what all of them are for. Some of them just like money and business, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. But I can't deal with them. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate the gift. Say thank you. Can you celebrate that? How do you celebrate it? Oh, I didn't know that. This real quick. I agree that video you did a couple of weeks ago was great. I gotta go look at some content on different people's channels today, if I can. Not today because I got a show today, probably tomorrow. I really care for movies like The Godfather and New Jack City. Yeah, I mean, people, it's all right to like the movies. I like these movies too. I'm just saying I don't want them as real characters in life. You know what I'm saying? It's fun to watch in the movies, but to emulate it in real life is not a thing. But some people have left it to the point where they like these real characters in real life. All of us, pardon that. Yeah. I'm not sure it's a black thing. It's a distorted idea of what masculinity is. I'm not saying it's a black thing. I'm saying I'm speaking from my perspective of the black people I know, which we were talking about. But like I said, I don't know any other culture's perspective on these things. I know the Italian people like it because it was a gang, but I can only speak for the people I know and I spoke to. I'd rather do videos on that than on politics. Yeah. I really don't, for me, it'll be shocker to y'all. I like comedy. I like having fun with comedy. I love, you know, just talking trash, having a good time. I grew up that way. Me and my sister used to do it. I love to laugh more than I do this, but I'm passionate about doing right by people. I'm passionate. It's for me, I love the truth. 100%. Even if it's painful, I love it because I have a solid foundation. I don't like being gaslit. I don't like lying to myself. And so I get very angry when people do this because it's like, dude, why don't you just take responsibility for your actions and just move forward? The idea that it's this energy that you have to literally lie to make yourself feel good that a minute instead of just going through the pain and feeling good about the overcoming whatever it is you had a problem with. You rather just act like it's not there. So those types of things tick me off. And when I'm not talking about politics, man, I just have a good time and enjoy life. But this, if we were back to just focusing on the truth, oh, I could have a passionate, like fun time. Most people, if you know me, if you want to see like the person I love to be outside of talking about politics, you'd come to my music show, Chalky Music Lab. That is more me. I'm in my element there. I'm in my element of, and this is me too, but it's like me going against the powers that be. And I don't like sugarcoating shit. I ain't gonna try and like make you feel good or make you feel bad. I'm gonna tell you the truth and let it do what it do. But when I'm like in my zone, listening to old school music and remembering the old days and having a good time and watching an old school movie and remember how old phones used to look and how they used to sound and way people dress. I mean, that is my element where I'm just like having a good time, laughing and acting crazy, having a good time. But yeah, so I get it when you guys are talking about that here. It's always good. It's always good to kind of like step away, Ginger, from the facts. You started this doing comedy, and when I started doing Trump, I don't know if you guys saw. I mean, people saw it, but I was doing Trump Whisper, translating stupid, and I would just make fun. Those were so fun, even though I was bringing out facts. I was bringing it out with comedy and yeah, I just love to laugh. I am one of those people who just love to laugh. I make myself laugh. I talk trash about myself, and I'll just crack up. I'll make fun of a movie or something like that, something that I see. I saw like earlier in the week, I saw like a horror film. It's like an old school horror film. Well, not old school, it's a new one, but it's not even in the theaters now, whatever. But and it was hilarious. I was making fun, laughing throughout the entire horror film because it was so bad. But yeah, I love it. Oh, that's where you found me? Trump Whisperer, translated stupid. Yeah. And fuck your feelings. I have fun with that. I might bring it back, but it after that was over, it really kind of like threw me because I was like, it ain't nothing to be funny about. We got to get this fool out of here somehow. But we do have to start laughing about some things. But I never know. I might come back to it. More sense than Dinky to do Trump voiceovers. I think no, there's a lady that does Trump. She used to do Trump voiceovers. I love Bernie Mac. So sad he's gone. Oh yeah, Bernie Mac was so funny. I remember he's like stir like muffin coffee. Yeah, it's found right here on YouTube. Yeah, Danny Loco. The Trump whisper translated stupid caught my attention too. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that so much. I might do it again, but it was just, like I said, after it was over, it's like, what's so funny about this dude? He's ruining people's lives and people losing their homes and their livelihood. I started worrying about people trying to unalive themselves after losing everything. So I was more in a negative, phase of thinking about them. Does a decent Trump, but a spot on Harvey. Oh yeah, Godfrey. Yeah, definitely. Oh, you just found out last night that Angie Stone passed away? Yeah, we did a special for her on my music show. We did, I would say, I don't know, about 30 minutes or so of music for her before we started our show. Yeah, you should can cable 14 years ago. Well, nice. And you get your information on through print and YouTube, being loco. I get them through a bunch of clips. I got print that I'll look at some print and I'll still check like the clips from like MSNBC, not so much CNN, but if I find a clip on YouTube that's from CNN, I'll look at it. Mostly like Abby Phillip, because they have that racist on there. Republican. I'll sit there and be like, okay, I see where he's going, because you can really kind of figure out how this regime is moving when you listen to some of these sycophants. I cast slash watch it from my phone. Oh, every day. Okay, I see. Sarah Cooper, Earthkeeper. You're right. You're right. That's what I was talking about. Sarah Cooper, the sister that does it. You're right. Man, you picked the brain on that one. I didn't think I left that many clues out for Earthkeeper to get that. I didn't think I said it was. Did I say it was a sister? I might have said it was a sister. I was like, man, you'd be good at naming that too. Be like, oh yeah, that's Michael Jackson. That's like, what the hell? That'd be hilarious. Makes more sense than thinking. Yeah, I saw that. Shane Gillis does the best Trump impression. Shane Gillis. I trying to remember who that is. Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Bernie Mac, Dave, and Cat. Yeah, those are all bangers right there. But yeah, I love comedy. I did comedy just 2 times. I went on Andrew Souls. I can't stand that guy here, Troy. I went to the Haha here in Haha Cafe in Los Angeles. It's in North Hollywood, not too far from where I'm living, whatever. And I went there and did comedy right before COVID hit, right before they canceled COVID. It was like November 2019, and I started like in August, like going there and writing material and watching people. I didn't go to school or anything like that for it. I just always wanted to do it since I moved out here. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go do it. And then I went up there. My first time, I killed it. I had so much energy afterward. I was walking home. I was living somewhere else, and I was walking home because it wasn't that far from my crib. I'm walking, and I'm all excited walking back home because I got up and did the comedy, and I had some jokes at home that I just kind of thought of. I'm gonna go out there and do it. And it's my first time on stage, right, to do comedy. And I'm like, okay. And these are open mics. You're not on stage doing anything, but it's on open mics. But for some reason, I went to so many open mics, right? And it was all comedians in the audience. So I was like, I could do this because, most of them were depressed as heck. I don't know why, but I went and they had some of the most darkest sets. So I was like, I could do this in front of them. I come, and why was it like a show? Everybody had their mama and cousin there. I was like, hell, this is open mic, right? You know what I'm saying? I paid my $5 for 5 minutes. And I had some jokes written. And I wasn't nervous. I was like, you know what the hell? Bomb. And then I got to the club. I'm standing outside the club chilling. I started getting nervous. I'm like, oh, damn. And then I started thinking about, okay, I started thinking about my jokes. And my jokes just started fading away. I'm like, oh, shit. And then I said, you know what? You're just going to have to summon funny. Because you can't remember none of this. You're just going to have to summon some funny. So I kind of like sat there and meditated. I said, I'm just going to make fun of myself. I'm good at that. And so I got on stage, and none of my jokes I wrote was coming to mind. So I was going off the top of the dome, just talking trash. And I had the place rolling. You know what I mean? Everybody was laughing and shit. And it's hard to get comedians to laugh at your stuff, right? Because, they're sitting there thinking about their joke like me. So I'm going to say this one, I'm going to do that one. They're writing down stuff, rewriting their notes. I had them rolling. I was like, oh, man, this is cool. And then my second one came around, I wasn't overconfident. I was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. I remember my stuff, so I wasn't freaking out. So I get up on the stage, and I get up there and I say, I started doing my jokes, kind of calm and comfortable. Mind you, I was a professional speaker at one point, so I wasn't so much afraid of being on stage in front of people. It was more about remembering a joke and trying to make it funny. It was kind of stressed out part. So I'm up on the stage and I'm like looking around, and I didn't pay attention to my audience. I had my jokes, and so I got up here and I said some jokes and things like that. And I'm not a skinny person, and I used to be really big, really big. So this time I was much thinner, but I still used to be really big prior to that. And I said a fat joke. Why didn't I look at the room and there's people? A couple of people who were kind of big, but I was still bigger than them at that time even. But for some reason they got offended. It was a wrap. That one went horrible. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, and then my third one, I did pretty good. But then after that, COVID hit, all the clubs closed. That was the end of my comedy career. Is an underrated comedian. I enjoy his podcast on YT. Oh, okay, I gotta check out Eddie Griffin's podcast. I appreciate your content. Yeah, I'll check your content. Most definitely. I'm gonna check out everybody's content as well. Do I follow everybody? I'll make sure I go check on everybody. All right. I'm gonna have to get out of here and go do my other show, the music show. If you like the music, is on TikTok under Mr. Straight Facts, old school music. Bring 2 of your songs that you love. I play my list. I play your list, and then we close it out. And then I'll see you, Save Wit, tomorrow. I think it's 11 o'clock your time, 12 o'clock her time, or vice versa. But it'd be 9 a.m. my time. Been in the chat with you. Most definitely. Thank you. Kindly check out the 21st Century Suffragists. Okay. Most definitely. Appreciate y'all. Much love to y'all. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love. And I'll end up seeing some of you guys on Monday. Some of you maybe Friday, maybe tonight after the show, or Sunday with the old school TV movie show, whatever we may have, and jazz, blues, smooth R&B, things of that nature. All right. Cool. Let me make sure I got everything set up. As always, I say, I'll see you guys when I see you. Much love.